Hello, everyone. Welcome to Benton's webinar today, which is a perfect opportunity, we think, for Stephen Stairs, President and CEO of Benton Resources, to update its investors, shareholders, and anybody interested in the company on the progress that has been made so far on the flagship Far Lake project, as well as other projects in a very impressive project portfolio of Benton Resources, which includes projects advanced by strategic partners and other juniors and bigger companies such as Rio Tinto. And I'm sure that Steve will talk about all of that, but specifically about Far Lake, near-term plans, current phase 2 drilling, as well as bigger picture thinking and outlook for the year ahead, which we do expect to be very prosperous for Benton. The way it will be organized, Steve will share his screen and give a general overview of the company and talk about the projects for about 20 minutes or so, followed by a moderated Q&A session, which will consist of the questions that were submitted by a lot of you in advance. And we just combine them so that there's no repetition. Afterwards, we will let everybody unmute themselves. And if you have any questions, you can ask them during the live Q&A. You can either raise your hand or just unmute yourself and ask that question live, or you can submit your question in the chat box in the Zoom panel. You can do it not just during the live session, but throughout the presentation, and I will just be monitoring the chat room, and we'll pick those questions later during the live session. So without further ado, I'm gonna just hand it off to Stephen Stairs, who's gonna share his screen and start the presentation.
Hey, happy afternoon, and welcome to Benton's webinar. This will be a quick webinar with general information about the company and our Far Lake project, as Arena mentioned. So we are project generator, and we have tremendous project portfolio with really great companies as partners, and we are currently looking for new partners on other projects that we have. I will be making forward-looking statements throughout this presentation, we recommend that you consult a professional investment advisor before making investments in junior mining companies, as they are risky, but the risk reward sometimes is pretty tremendous. Issued and outstanding shares of the company, 102 million shares, fully diluted at 122 million. We got more than 11 million in equities and holdings in the company, and approximately 2.4 million in cash. And current market cap as of yesterday was around 16 to 17 million dollars. Experienced board, probably collectively over 150 years experience by everybody. So it's we've been around the block, and the company's been around since 2004 with some great success. Being a project generator, we've had some success, as mentioned. 2007, myself and my brother was a part of the Bell Dennis Prospector of the Year Award. Also had a few Discovery of the Year Awards here in Ontario in 2015 and 2017. We got large equity positions in other companies, such as the high-grade Thunder Bay North deposit held by Clean Air Metals, Panama Lake Gold Project in Red Lake under joint venture to Max Tech Ventures, Staghorn project under operation of Quadro Resources. They just had a new discovery near Marathon. Bark Lake and Barrow Lake, which is under option to Rio Tinto, Canada. Saganaga Gold, now called Star Project, under option to Metallica Minerals. And our flagship property that we are currently advancing is the Far Lake Copper Gold Silver Project. As mentioned, long-term and near-term upside, 24.6 million shares of Clean Air Metals, 4 million shares of Quadro Resources, new discovery, like I say, near Marathon Gold in Newfoundland, 3.6 million shares of Max Tech Ventures, 1 million shares of Sokoman Iron or Sokoman Minerals. They have the high-grade Moosehead project near Newfound Gold. 1.3 million shares of Metallica Minerals. They have Benton's Saganaga/Star project. Bark and Barrel, which is under option to Rio Tinto. And we have many other gold and base metal projects inside the company that we are seeking partners for. And we contain NSRs as well, including 0.5% on the Thunder Bay North and Escape Lake deposit, which recently has a new resource estimate released on it. So Far Lake is located about 100 kilometers west of Thunder Bay, also about 100 kilometers west of the Thunder Bay North deposit, which is just north of Thunder Bay, and also about 20 kilometers east of the Bark and Barrel platinum, palladium, copper, nickel project under option to Rio Tinto. Here's just a kind of a blown up size map for claim holdings. You can see Impala's Lac des Îles mine to the north in yellow, Escape Lake property under option to Clean Air Metals, and the blue-green is the Far Lake project, and the red is the Bark and Barrel project along the Quetico Fault. So as you can see, we are in a very productive mining jurisdiction. Just to the south of our Far Lake project is the Shibandwan nickel mine, which was mined for 30 or 40 years by Inco, and now partially owned by Impala Canada, I think. So this is magnetics of the Far Lake project. I'm going to get right into Far Lake because we don't have a lot of time. I know I'm being quick on this, but in the last 3 years, we've discovered multiple copper zones over a very large area. You can see the main zone and the FL11 zone that's over 2 kilometers in strike length. And we've got now drill holes in these new zones, 2 pond zones. We got major alteration and silicification. Center pond target, we've got surface copper. It's not been drilled yet, but we have large geophysical anomalies on that. And what we call a northwest target, that's where the drill is actually currently drilling. I'll show you some 3D sections on that shortly. This is a target that we're pretty excited about. It's a large chargeability anomaly, sits on the main structure, and it's on the same zone and the same structure as the 2 pond silicified quartz stockwork zone that I'll show you some pictures of shortly. This is kind of a blown up map of the work we've completed to date, or partial work. The outline of the square is where we completed a deep IP survey with multiple, priority targets. The 3 red circles that you see are the areas that we will be drilling, and we are currently drilling. And you'll see there's some white drill holes there. That's the previous discoveries that we've had with drilling. So most of the copper we've hit in drilling so far is on our number 1 structure, which is the main Far Lake structure. But our number 2 structure, which is where 2 pond system is, we've done very little work on that other than 2 drill holes that show highly anomalous copper. And now we have some nice chargeabilities associated with it. So we're testing those in center pond and northwest target currently. This is the geology. The 2 structures is representing, like I say, high silicification, alteration, phyllic alteration that you'd see with porphyries and IOCGs. We see hematite, magnetite, rare earth metals in some cases down near center pond, and also weak uranium up to 80 ppm in hematite breccias. This indicates to us we are in intrusive related system that is quite large, and we believe that there is potential here to host a possible world-class deposit. So that's what we're looking for, and that's that's what we're hoping to hit in this round of drilling. Going into the what we call the 11 zone, this is drill hole FL11. We had good soil geochem there, over 100 meters wide. We've done some trenching and identified copper on surface. We drilled underneath it and we cut 0.15% copper, 0.22 grams silver over 60 meters. That included 1.08% copper over and 1.6 grams silver over 3.6 meters. Just showed us that we currently, are in a really, really good copper system. Again, this has never been previously known or any work ever in history done on this project. And so we've currently drilled 3 holes in this vicinity, hole 13, 14, and 15. Those are being cut and split, cut and sent to the lab for assay as we speak. And we have hit similar alteration and mineralization in those holes. So we'll see what we get. Interestingly enough, we don't have a large chargeability anomaly on this zone. So the other targets that we're targeting have chargeability anomalies, which indicate chargeabilities are caused by sulfide or graphitic mix within the geology. So we're hoping that these chargeability anomalies are caused by sulfide and copper mineralization. This is just some core from the FL11. This is highly altered phyllic alteration. In the bottom of the core, you can see it's all sericite and or kaolinite. We haven't done any thin section work yet, but that will be underway soon. As you can see, some pretty heavy copper, up to 3.8% over half meter and 1.1% over 3.6 meters. So really good, strong copper system. And we're pretty excited to keep working on this and expanding out the zone. This is where the current drill, this is where we're currently drilling, FL16. This is northwest of Two Ponds, as you can see it down in the southeast corner. This is where we had massive silicification. We don't have a lot of information about this area. We've done very little work up there, other than we've identified a poorly exposed outcrop with up to 0.13% copper and silicification and breccias. So that's where we're currently drilling. This will be a 700 to 800 meter hole. And up in the northeast corner, or the top right-hand corner, you can see the chargeability. So this is looking down at depth in the slide, and you can see surface there. So that hole starts at around the chargeability starts at around 400 to 500 meters depth, and then it go to about 700 to 800 meters through that pink chargeable anomaly. So we're anxiously awaiting to see what this anomaly will give us and how this survey has turned out for us. But it looks pretty good so far. Again, this is some pictures of a two-pan alteration, massive quartz stockwork, silicification, albitic alteration. These are the type of systems and alterations that you do see around the world in other large intrusive deposits, such as IOCG albitic dams and or around intrusive porphyry deposits. Here's some of the core. Some of these sections in places were hundreds of meters thick of quartz stockwork just like this. So it just shows us how robust and large the system is. Two Pond Zone, this is a little bit south and east of, Center Pond Zone. This is a little bit south and east of Two Pond Zone. This is where we have another large chargeability anomaly associated with copper on surface. This is also where we have about a 500 meter long rare earth anomaly in the gray square. highly anomalous rare earths in soils, and also a few rock samples taken in that area had, I think, up around 0.5% or 0.4% total rare earths in rock samples. So this is a very important area for targeting IOCGs and also porphyry style mineralization. It's kind of a mix between both. So we're looking or hoping that this is a unique style of deposit, and that we find something extraordinary here. So this round of drilling will give us a lot of information, and certainly hopefully a discovery with testing these anomalies. The project, I should mention, is a very, very large project. These structures are in the order of up to 15 kilometers long, and we've only tested a very small area. This area we've done the detailed geophysics and drilling so far is about 4 square kilometers out of the hundreds of square kilometers we have. So we're going to go down to the main zone. This is where we had really high grade copper, up to 22% over 0.7 meters in trenching. We drilled some really shallow holes here, with good success. And now with the deep geophysics, we've identified large chargeabilities sitting right underneath the main zone, and also a lying strike to the north and to the southeast, or southeast. And we're going to drill 3 deeper holes into this system and see what we come up with. The zone was interrupted with our shallow drilling with a bunch of diabase sills and dikes. So we're hoping that the deeper holes will get away from those dikes and get true continuity and true thicknesses on some of these higher grade zones. I just wanted to show some of the mass of copper that we see within the breccia zone on the main zone. This grade at 22% copper, you can see that hammer is about almost 1 meter long. So these big pods and blocks of copper, we're hoping to see that over big areas in drilling. We did see it in small sections, as you can see in the drill core FL3. This grade at 0.19 copper over 33 meters, and 3.1 meters of 1.1% copper. So that's directly below where we had the massive or semi-massive and coarse copper in trenching. So it is there. It's there in drilling. It's been tested very shallowly, and we see wide widths of copper, and we see locally high grade copper. So we just need to narrow ourselves in to finding a big body of the high grade, and that's the ultimate goal here. So I'm not going to talk much longer about that. I just want to mention a quick summary for Far Lake and the blue sky potential again for Benton. The properties, the Far Lake property shows characteristics similar to that of world-class porphyry and IOCG deposits. It's got excellent infrastructure, including logging roads just off the Trans-Canada, only minutes away. CN Rail runs across the south part of the project, and power lines immediately available. First phase of drilling, which was completed only in December, hit a large copper system. It's wide open for expansion. Deep IP shows multiple chargeability anomalies that we're currently testing. So lots of news flow coming. Clean Air Metals, which Benton owns 24.6 million shares of, and a 0.5% royalty, just released their first resource estimates only weeks ago, and that included 1.8 million ounces contained of indicated, and 663,000 ounces inferred of palladium equivalent. This is very exciting. This project is world class in my opinion. It just sits 60 kilometers south of the Lac des Îles mine, which was bought by Impala for $1 billion only about a year ago. The CEO of North American Palladium at the time, Jim Gallagher, has joined Clean Air Metals, recognizing the tremendous potential in this deposit, along with Abraham Dross, who has tremendous track record in M&A acquisitions. He's been involved in many of them, and he is the CEO of the company. So good team. Jim has been involved in building many mines. So this is truly an opportunity, that Benton will probably recognize cash flow from a royalty eventually, and also, our equity position should be worth a lot more than current market prices once they get this project advanced a little further. Other high quality projects we have, Bark and Barrow, which is being advanced by Rio Tinto, so Barrow West and Bark Lake. Right in between us, Rio has a block of ground called Barrow, which we bound east and west of them, and they had a discovery in there of over 4% nickel and 0.5% copper, I think, around 2 meters. So that's pretty exciting. I think they'll be doing more work in that region. Metallica Minerals acquired our Saganaga Gold project. They call it Star now. They trade at around 55 cents. Good exploration team, so they'll be advancing that project. Quadro Resources just had a discovery near Marathon Gold in Newfoundland. They're currently drilling. I think they had 3.3 grams over 5 meters in a new discovery. And that's going to be their focus, expanding on that. And Max Tech Venture has our Panama Lake project, which is up in Red Lake, on the same structure as Great Bear Gold. And they done a drill program last winter, and I believe they'll be getting ready to do some more work this year on that project. So we have a lot of upside. We've got other projects that we're currently talking to potential partners on, and hoping that we can get over the line on some of those deals. And but I believe that our Far Lake project truly has world-class potential, and we're going to aggressively advance that over the next year. So with that, I'll be open for questions. I wanted to keep this short and sweet, but you can contact myself directly, or you can also contact CHF with any questions on the emails and phone numbers in the last slide.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, with that, we will conclude the more formal part. I do have a couple of questions that were submitted in advance, and I don't think you've actually touched upon them a lot during the presentation, so this would be a good opportunity for you to answer them. And I think we'll start, since you finished the presentation with, the projects advanced by other partners. There was a question about Clean Air Metals, where you mentioned, number of shares, that Benton is a significant shareholder. And you've said numerous times that shareholders of Benton will be rewarded for this position. How exactly will this be achieved? That was the question. And thoughts on the timelines of that happening.
Yes, okay. Well, I mean, the timelines are going to be based on the success of Clean Air Metals, obviously. If you look at Talon Resources, which is another Rio Tinto copper nickel project, less than 10 months ago, Talon had probably a market cap of around $40 million. So within 10 months, they released a PEA, which is underway at Clean Air Metals right now. And now Talon is broke out to about a $650 million market cap. So when that happens, or if it happens, but I believe it will happen for Clean Air Metals, I think that will be the time to decide how we pay our shareholders with our equity position in Benton. We'll obviously want to be working with Clean Air Metals to manage their market. It's a lot of stock, so hopefully we'll just find a strategic buyer for it. But ultimately, I think our plan would be to dividend, portion or all of that cash to our shareholders. That would be my ultimate goal. I did that in the past with a company called Coral Mining. Benton owned 57 million shares, and we dividend all the shares to the company. But ultimately, I think a different strategy might be better for clean air metals. But the other upside, of course, is we have a 0.5% royalty, and I believe that's going to be also very valuable to the company. And of course, if we get cash flowing, a dividend is not out of the question, that's for sure. So we've got a lot to think about over the next year as clean air, moves towards possible development and so forth. So it's pretty exciting.
Great. I think that was helpful. So moving on to Benton's projects, the ones that are advanced by Benton itself. And I think I actually received a very interesting question, was that you obviously talk about Far Lake now because it's a flagship project. But even if you go on your website, you can see that there are a lot of projects that either seem to be dormant, and people don't know what's happening with them, if you're going to do any work on any of them. For example, somebody asked specifically about the Good Child project. Is there significant upside there? And is any work planned on any of your other projects in the near term?
Yeah, we do the basic work to keep the ground in good standing. We are going to do some work on Iron Duke if we don't find a partner by spring, summer. That is a tremendous gold project with very little exploration historically, with good gold numbers. And that includes another project called Abernathy. We had good success there in the first round of drilling, and we anticipate that project will see further work. So we just keep digging in, looking for partners. Sometimes you might get 3 partners a month. Sometimes it might take 2 years. It's hard to say. So you just keep working away at those things. But our plan is to keep our project portfolio intact and just keep looking for great opportunities. And they do come along, as you see. I mean, we just literally optioned out the Stagnate project only 5 or 6 months ago, and they're already planning a aggressive work program for this spring, summer.
Right. So you would say that this year Benton will be operating only on Far Lake, right? Itself.
Far Lake itself, you never know. I mean, opportunities come along, things can change, but Far Lake to me has something very special. One being the scale, and never known mineralization in history. So to me, that speaks volumes. 15 years ago, most of the Thunder Bay Rift system, including like Thunder Bay North, Sunday Lake, all those, the Eagle deposit that Rio Tinto found, Tamarack, all those are all brand new discoveries. And it's all within the Mid-Continental Rift system. And I believe that these deposits are all very special in grade and size. And Far Lake probably fits in there for me. So I believe focusing on it to find something big is very important.
Good. So, and this will be actually combining the question received in advance, and I will combine it with the question that was submitted by Ron Jones, because it ties perfectly into this next question. And that's, if you can talk a little more about your capital structure. What percentage of the company is owned by the insiders? Particularly somebody asked by the Stairs brothers, which was interesting. Are there any other notable shareholders and any institutional groups involved? And I'll jump into Ron's question after you answer that one.
Right. So we have insiders are probably around the 10% mark. Myself, my brother, and family are somewhere probably around the 7, 8, 9 share mark. We have a few financings in the last little while. Some Sprott guys, so forth. We are generally owned by retail investors, some institutional buying, but probably less than 10% is institutional. So it's more or less a retail float on the company. Yes.
Yeah, so, and what is your current cash position, and will you need additional funding in the near term, or later? When do you envision this happening, and how much would you be raising, if you have any idea?
Well, that you never know. I mean, if we pull 3 monster holes on Far Lake, things change. I mean, so the mining sector, you almost take it day by day, as every other company out there, just like ourselves. We've been around since 2004, so we know how this works. It's all based on success, and I believe we'll have success with this project. I believe that some of our projects that are optioned out to juniors will have success. So it all hinges on a lot of factors. So let's just wait and see, and wait till we get the next drill campaign finished and the results in, and we'll go from there. But we do have options with other equities and other companies that I believe will reward us. We can always use some of that funding for advancing projects as well.
And I don't think maybe I've missed it, but I don't think you've mentioned the cash position, the current cash position.
Cash positions are at 2.4 million.
Okay, good. So, I mean, this was it in terms of the questions submitted in advance. And I've seen Fred, I think, raising the hand to ask a question. And I think now we will be able to unmute. You can unmute yourself and ask the question. I've seen Fred submitting something in the chat room. So I'm not sure if he wants me to ask that question or to speak up, whatever you prefer. But we can open the floor. Just ask. Okay, I'll ask you this question. I think, this is more of a statement rather than a question, but it would be good for you to address it. The price has been, rather stagnate for a long time. Could be the lack of good promotion. Now it has popped nicely. What could the promotion be the reason for it? What do you think? And I think it's good for you to mention if you plan to do more promotion moving forward.
Yeah, so we've stepped up to promotion a little bit. We've recently hired INN, which we'll actually put out in a news release next round. That they'll be hosting Benton on their website and distributing our news along with, of course, CHF. So yeah, promotion is important, but I believe sometimes you want to have exciting news to go along with that. So that's why we're aggressively drilling. I mean, we've done one round in November, December. We've already done deep geophysics, and now we're back drilling again. So it should show how aggressive we are in trying to make a discovery and and grow shareholder value. We will step up a little bit more into promotion. We're open to make a 3D video for the company to kind of be self-explanatory on the assets and the project exploration plans. So yeah, we're spending a little bit more money on promotion these days, but the old saying is, if you find it, they will come. So we'll find it first, and then I think then we'll be rewarded. All shareholders will.
Yeah, but I think I'll step in a little bit and just expand on some of the plans. Obviously I expect we'll be doing more webinars and interviews, right, Steve?
Sure.
Especially when the press releases are out with the news, and we are also working on updating the website. That is ongoing right now. We know there's work that needs to be done. We'll do it together with Benton, and it's the same thing with corporate materials. We'll try to make them a little more interactive, and we're considering video production. So there are things coming, and we understand that promotion is important, and I do think that this year will be bigger in terms of getting the story out there, because there is just a bigger foundation for that to happen. right, Steve?
Correct, 100%.
Now, okay, a question from Mike. Are you concerned with Rio Tinto and their environmental issues globally and the optics being in partnership with them? That's an interesting question.
Well, let's see. Rio Tinto, they've been around Thunder Bay for a long time. And in fact, most of the copper nickel deposits found in the Mid-Continental Rift system have been discovered by Rio Tinto's team. So they are extremely efficient and have a lot of technical expertise in finding these deposits. So, having those guys on Benton's side, I do not think. No, I'm not concerned about Rio Tinto at all. I mean, I think they announced today that they're paying a special dividend. So they're doing okay, I think.
Sure. I think that addressed the question primarily, mostly. Well, if that's some Fred is saying, loved the spin-off of Cora, nice tax write-off. I just wanted to mention that. But other than that, we don't have any questions in the chat room. And if there are no more questions that anybody wants to ask live, we can, I guess, conclude this webinar. And Steve, any last words, to close this?
Like I say, being an exploration company, exploration companies are risky, and we put it all out there. We're looking for something world class. We believe that's the way you change a company forever. I believe we are involved in a world class discovery at Clean Air Metals, and and we'll be rewarded for that, especially along with our royalty and our share position. But we want to find one right from the beginning, grassroots. That's my ultimate goal. That's my dream. So that's what we're trying to do, and I believe if we find it, it'll reward everybody in our company. So we'll just keep pushing until that happens.
That's a great ending to this webinar. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we will be doing this more often moving forward.
And by any means, call me anytime. Any shareholder.
Yeah, we're here for you. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for watching.